What's up, Lance? UV Star, how are you guys doing? You got booted from X after saying Litecoin might be more like pure white gold, digital white gold. They banned you? Oh, you had to go through security tests to prove you were human. Oh, I didn't move this from yesterday. I thought we'd just go sideways here. Likely find a bottom and kind of consolidate. I won't adjust these the next 2 days. I do think we're just going to chop around here for a while, maybe to the end of the week. I was thinking yesterday, possible at the very end of the week to break out of here, but most likely into November. And then it shouldn't be long. Like the move to the highs should take like 2 days or one once this consolidation is done. So it shouldn't take that long. I saw the Litecoin ETF got higher inflows today. And again, this is like the base case, what I've been saying for months. It like underwhelms at first, but I think inflows will pick up over time. More ETFs will get launched. And since it's so illiquid, it will work reflexively and people will start diversifying out of like the larger Bitcoin positions or Bitcoin ETFs, ETH ETFs into what's moving. And Litecoin has a much more convincing story than all the competition, so, or at least to fundamental focused ETF buyers. So I think we're in a good spot. You got done doing homework? Hell yeah. Nice, chicken cat. I like chicken katsu. There's this really good place. Well, I think it's really good, but pretty close to me. Or just all they serve is various types of katsu. ETF lol. What up, Anthony? Hey, it's gonna do better over time. I'm gonna play like some of the new stuff. Well, not new, but stuff I haven't played yet. Played one yesterday. What do you guys think of, where's it at? I've tried for like months to make music that would sound good when price is pumping. Hype. Music, but, where did it go? Oh, here it is. What do you guys think of
this? Didn't go viral, I built gravity, whole world moving, they mad at me, I stay grounded, that's my strategy, they spin fast, I move gradually, from the dark to the gallery, I'm the pool they feel but can't actually see. Didn't need clout, I need clarity. Spoke my truth, they called it rarity. They post noise, I post sanity. Still got dreams that been scaring me. Took that pain, turned it casually. In the calm, that's my alchemy. Now they watch what was tragedy. Turn a piece, that's missing. Go viral, I built gravity. Whole world moving, they mad at me. I stay grounded, that's my strategy. They stay fast, I move gradually. From dark to the gallery. Go viral. silver carat actually.
Alright, what do you guys think of this? What you think is ETF? Because U.S. government shut down, investors are afraid. I'm not worried about it too much. I know some people interpret this chart as bearish. There's like popular influencers, like Big Cheds, talking about how bearish it looks. But they never caught I mean, they didn't catch any of the top performing assets. I think we're just here on a relative basis with Litecoin. Yeah, I think the chart's like pretty identical to Zcash. We've been looking at that quite a bit. One sec, I'll show you. I mean, Litecoin has been lagging Zcash by like 60 days or so. But it was a similar type of consolidation. Although to me, Litecoin's been way more bullish. And Zcash had like an 800% move. But yeah, if you measure this, it's not identical. Litecoin's been holding higher levels, like relative to the high time frame chart. This was significantly below all-time highs when it bottomed out, like 86%. Litecoin's 73% from its all-time high. But I think we're here. The last dip on the bottom side of this trend line. And I actually think we're like here. It moved up and then consolidated on that recent, this lower high here. So, however long this takes to consolidate, I think the next move is to break out. And then I think we have like 3-4 months into March or so, March, April. Anthony, nice. You bought more Litecoin for the first time in years. Sorry, Jackson, didn't see your message. What's up, man? How are you? Hope you're well. But I think, yeah, it might be similar to XRP and Zcash, how they both rally to the 21 high. I think Litecoin goes far beyond it. So open interest is still at death zones. It's bullish. And funding rates are still below neutral. Sentiment was so bad yesterday. the expectations were so high and nothing from ETF. Which makes me feel bullish. And Bitcoin actually had been going lower while alts are holding up. I think we're starting to see early rotation. And then the pair charts are the most important to me. Litecoin against the alts, since alts should outperform here. Litecoin's still like, I don't know why the sentiment's so bad, because compared to like Cardano, you know, it's doing way better. It's about to break up here. Same with Link, LTC Link. LTC against the whole altcoin market cap. I thought maybe we'd come down and retest this level, but it doesn't have to. Just like a pullback here before we head vertical against the rest of the market. We're so close now. It's like saying the same thing all the time, but you don't have that much time. Retarded. I think it just will do better with price. This is like what drives Bitcoin. That's what's driving altcoins mostly. Yep, it's price reflexivity. It's like the demand curve for cryptocurrency is like, oh wait, if you had a chart, I need to change this. If this is demand, or you put price here, and then demand for the cryptocurrency, it's literally like this. It's like the higher the price, the higher the demand until it peaks. And so it'll be the same with ETF flows. The narrative, people don't look for a narrative after price moves, but Litecoin is unique to any other cryptocurrency because it can steal Bitcoin's transactional demand, and there's so much daily demand sitting there that it can push price, unlike any other crypto asset, which has to build slow compounding network effects. And the only thing that makes them go vertical is speculation. $1 million inflow is super low, and look, price still holding up better than everything else. Bullish. It's all relative. Like, how much supply is really out there? It doesn't take much inflows to start moving price, and if the marginal buyer is $1 million a day, that's relatively huge compared to what was there previously, right? It's an additional $1 million a day of demand, and hodlers or people, you know, the supply is so trapped up and illiquid after 3-4 years that can be significant over time, and those inflows will compound, right? Like, look at volume in 2017. And once we get a breakout, traders will all buy in. Push price into this like pocket of illiquidity above 140. But it makes sense that there's not much demand for Litecoin because there's no marketing. It's the same with it's no different from the retail market. But yeah. I think Litecoin looks way more constructive than a lot of these other charts. Does not look like it wants to pump. Litecoin does. Check wave basis just for fun. Jeez, Bitfinex. This is gonna mess up this software. It's gonna say it needs to fill this way, yeah. Coinbase, is it on here? So yeah, on Coinbase it says this low is in. Let's see it. Yeah. I think this is all corrected. I don't know why it's counting it like that. It's saying this 3, 4, 5. I don't think so. It's like it's Polish. Looks like, what was this wick here? What up, Crypto Arcanum? How you doing? Close to moon. Yeah, everyone here has been pretty patient. Most people capitulated. Let's see if we can break out against altcoins here, but this looks bullish to me. We needed a little bit of a pullback here to be able to rally. So close against all these coins. It's like wicked up here, we wicked up again. The next move should be the real breakout. Each pullback has been lower in time and magnitude. So this was 140 days, 35% decline. This was like 1/3 the time, 25%, so significantly less. And then this was really quick, right? Like a few days, 4 days, less percent drawdown. And now we had this really short move up and dump yesterday over 1 day. So I think we could break out like any second against the rest of the market. Maybe this consolidates another time, tests here and breaks out Monday. But I was thinking could be this week. I think we're at the end of the correction. Like when vertical against the whole market. Is MK in here? Light strategy looks better than the LTCC ETF. I don't know, the ETF will just follow price. All those Litecoin ETFs. How many Litecoin ETFs were approved? It's just the Canary one, right? But those other two, CoinShares and whoever else applied, should be there. And then I think BlackRock and these others, Fidelity, will apply for a Litecoin ETF. On a move to all-time highs, they definitely will. I don't know why they wouldn't. If there's demand there and they can make money on it and it costs them almost nothing because they already applied for the Bitcoin ETF, it's set to replace the ticker with LTC practically. Is Flippy in here? You want to come on the stream, sir? Just Canary. Yeah, so it's just one ETF and it has the highest fee. And they're the least known because they're brand new. $31 here. GM. Yeah, GM, sir. How you doing? I think we're looking really good. I'll probably only be on here for like 30 minutes, but if you want to jump on the stream, yeah, let's do it. Let me create a room real quick. One sec. All right. Here we go. Alright, I sent the link, sir. Let me see if... I'll wait for you. All my gods are gone. He died a long time ago. But Charlie Lee is still here. True. Did you see my video? My music video from one of those? Is that where you got the... All my gods are gone. Lingo. Yeah, here I wanted to play a different one that I didn't. This actually isn't Juice WRLD. I just created it myself, but I tried to model, not model his voice, but similar. Art Master. Yeah, I have a lot of these, but I only played like 2 yesterday. What do you think of this one?
Didn't go viral, I built gravity, whole world moving, they mad at me, I stay grounded, that's my strategy, they spin fast, I move gradually, from the dark
More trading volume today.
Gallery, I'm the poor they feel but can't actually see.
I really like
Didn't need clout, I
this.
need clarity. Spoke my truth, they caught a rarity. They post noise, I post sanity. Still
This is
got
what I
dream,
was
got me scaring me.
thinking
Took
of.
that pain, turned it casually. In the calm, that's my alchemy.
It's
Now
so
they
much
watch what was
different.
tragedy. Turn a piece, that's
Same like musical
I
building
built
blocks.
gravity. Whole world moving, they mad at me. I stay grounded, that's my strategy. They spin fast, I move gradually. From dark to the gallery. I'm the door they feel but can't actually see me.
I'm waiting for Flippy. Where's the base? I could add base. I 31. Hell yeah. I'm waiting for our Nigerian friend. But yeah, Litecoin's holding up better. Let's break out here. Could be right now. All right.
I became the algorithm, they all orbit. Lost my soul, now I can't afford it. Feet don't sleep, it's just recorded. I was human once, they distorted it.
I need to fix this.
Every scroll feel like I'm bleeding. Same old pain, new season. They copy style, no meaning. I make code, they still dreaming. They want fame, I want freedom. They love lies, I can't feed them. Build this way, no sinking. Build the world, no thinking. I became the algorithm, they all orbit. Lost my soul, now I can't.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun to see Litecoin destroy. Like, we have the potential to destroy the most dominant narrative that's existed and persisted forever. That's what likely happens. That's what I've thought. So it should be a huge story. Yeah, well deserved. A lot of the people in this community deserve some more attention. Nobody's listening to the people who I think are going to be correct over the longer term. They're all chasing noise. Alright, we'll play something else. What up, Jules? What's WH mean? Is that lingo? Is that some slang? Alright, we got 33 people in here now. Just waiting for our Nigerian brother to load up his computer. Probably only be here for like 30 minutes. I want to work on some stuff. But there's not much to say on price other than the primary expectation was to go sideways and consolidate and then break up to the highs within a week or so. And then we'll see. Should break out finally, but I don't know if we'll like retest it and then go higher. Or if we'll just like vertically blast through it. But next month should be good. December should be really good. And then I think June, the 3-month period into spring should be bullish. Just a misclick. Want to ask for a playlist for the previous songs. I'm waiting. Like, there's a lot of stuff I haven't released, but I'm just like testing it out. I need to make some edits, and then I'll release it. What's up? I'll add you in here.
Yo. Okay.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. This is a different. This is Video Ninja. I've not heard that before. You're not using this dudes no more. What's the name?
The StreamYard thing? No, yeah, I'm not using it anymore.
Why? Why?
Just because I was trying to do like IRL streaming combined, and I couldn't have a setup where it was just too complicated. I wanted to like also build all these scenes, and I can't. There's like limited things you can do with StreamYard. What the heck? It didn't add you. I got distracted. One. I'm gonna put yours. I think they can hear you now.
Yo, they can hear me.
Let me turn down this music.
Audio. Yo, by the way, your music is fire, bro.
Oh, thanks.
LTC is that higher. Bro, I love that.
Yeah, I wanted like call and response style EDM. I don't see it hardly ever, but yeah, I want it. Some people hate on it, and like say it sucks, but other people like it. So I'm glad you enjoy enjoy it a little bit or like it.
I like it a lot, not a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. You shouldn't care about those dudes. Like, this, you know, the people that I hate, that be hating the most are people that can't do shit.
Oh, I
I don't know
know.
if I'm saying but like, yeah, they can't do nothing. They just hate and hate and hate. I mean, Jesus,
Yeah, it seems
shouldn't care about that.
yeah, I don't get why they waste their time. That's what doesn't make sense. It's like why are you downloading all the videos and commenting? Just you can just leave if you don't like it.
Yeah, and they're very consistent. By the way, they're incredibly consistent. Can you see me? Can you see my camera?
Oh, let me see. Let me put it. Oh yeah, I can. Let me just make it a little bit smaller because it's taking up the whole screen. Uh,
Okay.
nice. We can just watch your face, I guess. Hold on, I don't know how to make.
Yo, I just
Yo.
finished filming. I just finished filming an episode of the Professor. That's why I still got the glasses on. And I just, when I was done, uh, I just I looked at my phone. I saw Earn Not Gifted streaming. I'm like, yo.
Yo, yeah, thanks for the retweet. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I've got like 30
Uh,
minutes. But how have your streams been going? I've tuned into a few, like the Aztec one, the
yeah,
XRP dude.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm reworking. I'm reworking my streams because like I've been looking at the schedule around my streams, and I like sort of like figured out that having two streams, because I'm doing two things, right? I'm doing both the light hour, which is the Litecoin dedicated stream, and the autism tour. And one is suffering, and that's the light hour. The light hour is suffering. It's just like no one's gonna watch two streams in a day. And so I'm sort of like doing a lot of background work, behind the scenes work, where I'm trying to rework these shows and probably send the autism tour to just YouTube and other platforms, while I
mhm.
keep the light hour show on X. So it's not conflicting, because I noticed that like most of the Litecoin community are on the X page, and
Mhm.
also the autism tour is not giving me the results I hoped it was going to give me, because I was trying to break the algorithm bubble,
Yeah.
and attract the interest from the general
Yeah.
altcoin market. But it's not working, because the moment I make any episode about anything else, the algorithm just destroys itself, and it doesn't get to anyone. And I mean, but I first saw it with the XRP debate. Like immediately I announced the debate, I started getting massively unfollowed before it even started. And the algorithm was already getting messed up and all that. And right
Really?
after that debate, I was like, yeah, it was like I got unfollowed massively by Litecoiners before it even started. I guess that was why I was even extra defensive, because I was very defensive in that debate. And it's kind of like, I get it, everyone was like, a lot of people were unfollowing. I'm like, yo, what? Aren't you guys
Yeah.
seeing? I'm literally trying to force Litecoin into the conversation.
Yep.
And so I was like with this mentality where I wanted to prove, sort of like my loyalty extra. So I was just being defensive, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's
But
hard
yeah, I mean,
not to think that because the same thing happened to me. Like I know the general advice just like ignore those people that unfollow you, but I had like so many people unsubscribe when I started putting out different stuff that wasn't directly like Litecoin charts or Litecoin educational content, but I just said whatever. I just committed to it anyways. Um, because those people like yeah, I get the feeling it's disheartening when you start out and you like go down in viewership or followers, but I think over time, um, you can potentially branch out. But I don't know. It's hard. But I was trying to do the same thing you were doing, like break Litecoin out of the small
Yeah.
bubble, and I think you just have
We're
to
we're
like
gonna
commit for a period of time um, to doing something different before you judge if it works or not, or at least that's what I'm doing.
yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
I
We're
guess
gonna what?
we're gonna succeed at it at the end of the day because I'm doing a lot of background work. Honestly, I don't want to announce a lot, on the page because I just want to deliver going forward, right? I don't want to be making announcements. But yes, my new strategy is, I'm gonna move the autism tour to YouTube because I noticed that like X algorithm does not promote like reaching new audiences. It just doesn't work like that.
Mhm.
And it's like once you're trying to reach a new audience, it resets the entire algorithm, and it's a grind. And I just looked around, I'm like, okay, there are not that many pages that, I looked at the pages that sort of like are a little bit of you know this open pages where people can discuss other, coins and other, projects. And I noticed that they are not, related. They don't have their roots in any particular community, and I don't want that for myself because I'm a Litecoiner, right? I want to have my roots, in the Litecoin community. So I figured I can't do that on X. It's not possible for me to have a page that is rooted in the Litecoin community, as well as, having bringing other people from other communities to sort of like force the conversation. So I guess I'm just gonna move that to YouTube, and I know, it's gonna succeed eventually, right? I just have to work on it very well. And yes, I just got to keep trying. Like you said, we just got to keep trying, ideas that we were working on over time to see if it works or not. But yeah, I believe we succeed eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one I think price is eventually gonna break here, and we'll get a lot more attention. What I think I'm trying to focus on now is just being able to retain that attention once it comes. Because if you can give
Yeah.
them more than just price charts, give them some type of culture or something that appeals to their emotional side, I think they'll stick around. Or like
Yeah.
fundamental thesis, like all of that combined can get people to be sticky. Um, Someone was asking for your XRP debate. Did you remove it from YouTube? Because we were looking for it the other day.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it back when I have a follow up because I'm gonna have a follow up convo with him. So I'm gonna put it back when I do that. But yes, if you're requesting it, I unlisted it. I can give you the link if you want to see it. It was terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I look at it. I rewatched the entire thing. I was like, dude, what what's going on?
Oh,
It was a disaster, bro. I was literally saying a lot of things that just didn't make sense. I was like, wait, what? Because I was losing my train of thought a lot. I went inside, like, I wanted to prove that yes, I'm a Litecoiner, because people following me in mass before it started just messed with my head. And so I get there and I start debating. I just wanted to tear him apart. And so
yeah.
the dude interrupts me, and then everything just snowballs. And so I open the comments to look at what's going on there. And oh my god, it was just Johnny Litecoin and like a couple other Litecoiners, very few Litecoiners there. Everything else was just XRP bots
Oh,
tearing me down. And that was a very massive mistake because I was never supposed to do. I was just supposed to focus on the conversation. But like you can't ignore those things in the moment as much as you want to, right? And they're
yeah.
saying, I'm not listening. This Flipify guy is dumb, whatever. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm really trying. In my heart, I'm like, I'm really trying, dude. Like, don't you see it? And so like I start stammering. I'm looking. Sometimes you'd even see me, the dude's gonna talk, and then I'm just gonna repeat what I said previously because I didn't hear any of it. I was just looking at the
Mhm.
comments. So
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
absolutely, absolute disaster. You know, it got to a point I couldn't even remember some basic concept. I was just talking crap.
Oh, I see. I just saw some highlights. Like MK wanted to watch it. He liked it a lot. He thought it was hilarious. I didn't. I was pretty long. I didn't see much. I saw a few like clips. But I wouldn't. Yeah, it's so hard. Like your unconscious mind when you see negative comments, like it distracts you.
Yeah,
Uh,
it does. It does.
but I'm sure it
But
was
I'm not.
fine. It's probably not as bad as you thought it was.
No, it's terrible. I'll send you I'll send you a link to it. It's terrible. God, I literally could not. It's a point where he was talking about XRP being fairly distributed, and because they said, oh, it was in a ledger, and they put it in, they put the the code base, they put it in the code base, right, the keys, and they went to take it from themselves, and I just didn't know how to respond at that moment because
That
like
doesn't even
my
make
entire mind just went blank.
that doesn't even make sense what you're saying. They put it in the code base and then take it from themselves. What does that even? That's weird. That's the same thing as just issuing yourself supply. I don't know. I would never try to even debate them because I think it's like a totally different value prop, and I don't even
Yeah.
think it really compete. It just competes for speculative interest, and that community is huge and kind of deranged. Uh, I wouldn't even want to deal with it. I would
Yeah.
debate like the Bitcoin people. That would be fun.
Oh,
Debating someone like Sailor.
yeah.
If
I
you'd ever
debated
do it.
the Casper guy.
Oh, a Caspa guy.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Oh, that was much better. The thing is, because I had an extremely erratic first debate, then the Casper debate, I was trying to be extremely polite, and I also watched that, and it's less chaotic, but I'm just being way too polite to the point where I'm not even driving some of my points. So I sort of like took both of them, and I'm looking at it. It's a learning curve, right? These are my first two debates like ever.
Hmm.
The last time I debated anybody on a public stage was like 10 years ago. Back in like when I just back in high school, pretty much. Yeah, it was the last time I ever had a debate with anybody on a public stage. It's a very, very long time. And so yeah, just having that debate with and Matt Hamilton, by the way, the XRP guy is like is their talker. I mean, I saw him, he had a debate with Da Vinci Jeremy,
Oh,
and yeah, he's pretty huge. So yeah, it's a very it was it's a learning process. I know what I'm just happy about is the fact that I learned from it,
for sure.
and
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure future ones are gonna be way, way better. And yeah, you guys just anticipate, because I'm gonna be hosting more of those debates. Honestly, I'm not backing down from those. I feel like those were really great. I mean, I had a huge opportunity with the excerpt of the debate to. I mean, if I had planned it well, right, that could have been a way that we could have started the Litecoin conversation in a very serious way in that community. Uh, and we did in a way, but not the way that I was hoping.
Yeah, well, you got to
So
go through those experiences of like figuring it out. There's no way to like prep yourself so you're a master the first time. Um, I would be
yeah,
interested in talking to them, not necessarily debate style, but just trying to understand like what they think uh, about certain aspects of the token. Like, what's the actual value proposition? It changed from the original launch. It was like a peer-to-peer lending network, and then changed to this bank-to-bank settlement thing. I'd want to know how adoption by corporate like companies would actually create demand for the underlying XRP token. Because even if they
yeah,
use a ledger, I don't understand how that would drive demand for XRP. And then I'd want to debate them on the idea that XRP is a credit layer network, not a money. Um, so maybe if you host a debate again, or you should do like a group panel where you'd have like two
yeah,
people from each camp just talking in a
yeah.
respectful way.
The dude is a yeah. The dude is a very respectful person. Honestly, he's a nice person as well. And he's pretty conversational. Honestly, like yeah. So I want the show to go on for a little bit before I do the Q&A with him, because I wanted to be a Q&A. But yeah, I think I like the idea of a panel discussion. We can have like multiple people, multiple perspectives, because that's just gonna be nice. I guess one of the things I really missed out on saying was you know he tried to make the argument that XRP was sound money, And yeah, that was a first. That was a shocker. I've never heard anybody try to say, XRP was sound. I've never heard that claim before. It was very, very shocking for me to hear. And yeah, I mean, his basic ideas are. He said, yeah, I think, let me just see if I remember that. Okay, yeah. He said it was fairly distributed, which is just wow. I
But
didn't even know how
yeah,
someone could say that.
I would want, like, how did he define sound money? What did he mean
So
besides
he was
distribution?
going off of, yeah, he was going off of the okay, just basic principles of money: divisibility, fungibility, blah blah blah. And so that those were the basic principles he was going with. And I guess like the focus I was supposed to, the approach I was supposed to take was like, okay, talking about sound money from a perspective of monetary adoption as opposed to like what the tokens exactly are, because like you claiming it's sound money, it doesn't make it sound money, right? if
Well, yeah,
if it
you
was
could. What I
distributed
would tell
fairly.
what I would tell him is like, okay, go through these metric: distribution, portability, divisibility, fungibility, right? And then you just add metrics there, right? Like, what's the cost of resistance? Like the whole value prop in Bitcoin was that it lowers the cost of resistance, so it could succeed potentially where gold failed. Like that's in my mind what the innovation is. Um, and then for XRP, I would just ask him like, what happens if the government just doesn't like it, or what if it's not adopted? How does it overcome that point of resistance? Because that to me is the difference between proof of work type monies and proof of stake. And if it can't do that, then all the other points are just moot. They're pointless. It's like, yeah, you could have something infinitely divisible, super cheap, but it's centralized and therefore it can't even ever compete with state money. So it's going to rely on like these people like Brad Garlinghouse going to buy political influence and lobby the government. And like if that's your take, sure, but that's where we would disagree. Sound money has to
you know,
be able to avoid censorship and taxation. And if a law can just be passed on all these XRP nodes or whatever to change the rules, how do you overcome that? And there would be no response, I don't think, from him. But that's the point you'd have to hone in on because that's the real difference.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know what he's gonna say? He's gonna try to say that, and this is bizarre. You probably not heard anyone say this before, but he's gonna try to say, because he said that Ripple is more XRP ledger is more decentralized than Bitcoin and Litecoin, and
yeah,
his
but
argument was
what? Yeah, what's the
basically,
point of decentralization? Like we could talk through it, but that sometimes people get confused. But anyways, go ahead. Like he would say that what
yeah,
exactly?
he would say there are like 150 validators for XRP, and XRP is not even proof of stake, by the way. Validators don't get anything
Well, it's
for
like
being
the
validated.
technology is like it's a social consensus, right? There's no mining.
Yes, there's no mining, there's
So it
no
is
staking
proof of
rewards
stake.
either.
It's yeah, no staking rewards, but it's the same concept, right? It's a political style, social consensus
Yeah,
enforcement. So it's that I would just even though you don't get staking rewards, it's like a voting based system.
exactly.
And
And so
it should be proof of stake
and
because it's whoever, has the most dominant nodes that everyone else is relying on, like economically, that get to decide what the rules are. Because if you just ran an XRP ledger yourself, uh, and had zero activity, I don't know how you would participate in consensus at all.
yeah, and
I
there's
don't
like
know,
a UNL.
but uh, these would like evolve into super technical debates. But I think the fundamental difference is that there's no ability for a like political system to secure itself from the dominant political system. That's
Yeah.
that's what kills it. Um,
Yep. Yep.
yep, but cool. I think but in terms of like how well your streams have been going, do you remember what the like viewership or views you got on the XRP debate? Was it pretty high from XRP?
Oh
Usually
yes, it
people.
was pretty freaking high. Jesus, like it was pretty high. And the funny thing is, I didn't even know how high it was at the moment when it was like when the stream was on until like much later. I'm like, wait, what? It was like I think we had like a peak viewer count of about 3,000 live viewers on X and about like 1,300 live viewers on 1,000 something live viewers on YouTube.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy.
And then it was like yeah, and there was a couple hundred on Twitch, I guess, like a couple hundred. It's a lot of live viewers actually. It was insane. So yeah, and I didn't even know that that was a lot, honestly, because my previous streams before that, they sort of like were having like 1,000 plus live viewers as well on X. So I'm like, okay,
Well,
so maybe a
that's
little
crazy because my
more.
max was only like 100, but the StreamYard counts on X were always, or X counts were always so messed up. It would say like 1,000,
Yeah,
but it was never actually that. I only trusted YouTube's um
yeah.
stream analytics.
X's 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 analytics is bullshit. It said like 1,000, but like no one's actually watching. It's just like when someone comes in, if the person gets out in like 2 minutes, it's still gonna be counted as a view, a concurrent
Yeah,
viewer,
or if they just scroll
even
through
though
it
the person's gone now.
on their feed or something, it probably counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking right now for Litecoin with all this recent stuff about ETFs and price action? It seemed like sentiment got destroyed. Yesterday it was
Yeah.
like everyone got euphoric and then depressed in 10 hours.
You know what? I'm gonna say this, right? And people might not necessarily like this, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. Um, I'm prepared for a situation, for a scenario where we get more pain, and I try not to talk about this a lot on my page because like I understand that like a lot of people that are in this space, from what I've noticed, are people that have been holding Litecoin for like a decade plus. I have people that have been holding since 2013, 2017. It's like, so for someone like me who's just a newbie in this space to come and start talking about, oh yeah, you need to prepare for whatever. It's so rich for me to say something like that. But I mean, I think about from when I started looking at Litecoin and I've been monitoring its performance. I've always looked at it with one particular perspective, and that perspective is uh for proof of work fairly distributed coin like Litecoin. If I were BlackRock or like a massive, institution that has the ability to sort of like accumulate without moving the needle, and I wanted to get my hands on those Litecoins, if it was like Solana or any of these other proof of stake chains, I'm just gonna buy a massive chunk and stake it and become a validator, and then I earn rewards and I inflate everybody away. You know, the regular holder is just gonna get inflated away. I'm definitely gonna be much better with a much bigger bag. But with proof of work coins, you either mine it or you buy it. So the only way this massive institution can get their hands on it is if you sell it to them or they mine it. And they're not gonna mine it in mass. They're just gonna. I mean, come on. They're just gonna do it. The path of least resistance is just what's gonna be more attractive to them. So I see all of this pain that's happening with Litecoin, and I see some of the sentiment that's going on. Like a lot of people are literally on the edge right now. It's like a lot of people in the community already have a now or never mentality. And I see that as an opening for these guys to try to take advantage of it. I really hope, we can build more resistance. I think it's coming soon, right? It looks like it's coming soon. But we just have to understand that these guys, they just don't care. They literally don't. There's I don't want to call them the cabals, right? But the people that are driving the liquidity cycles, the people that are responsible for commodity movements, the guys, they don't care. They just want max liquidity extraction. And if they see an opportunity, they're going to take it. And the sentiment is showing, like a lot of Litecoiners are at their breaking point. I just wish some of us can have more strength to sort of fight that because that's exactly where they want us to be. They want us to be at the breaking point. We just have to be able to fight it. Fight it. If they want the coins, they should bid higher. And I just wish most people actually have that, you know, mental resilience. I'm prepared for the worst case scenario. I'm prepared for a scenario where they just dump the market to freaking 20 something bucks and try to like cause mass pain. Because if that happens, a lot of Litecoiners are gonna quit. And if they have the opportunity to do it, I don't see why they won't. But eventually, stock to flow is gonna play out. It's 84 million. There's this thing I heard from a Bitcoin Maxi. It was like, oh yeah, Bitcoin is demonetizing Litecoin the same way gold demonetized silver. And I'm like, that is either just blatantly ignorant or just deliberate slander, because it's not the same thing, right? The stock to flow for silver, there's a lot more, inflation for silver compared to gold, but that doesn't exist for Bitcoin and Litecoin because it's the same halving schedule and it's the same coins in proportion. So Litecoin is much harder in comparison to Bitcoin than silver is hard in comparison to gold. So like Bitcoin doesn't have that, stock to flow advantage over Litecoin that gold has over silver. So it doesn't have the ability to demonetize Litecoin the same way gold has that ability, just based off of its scarcity and its stock to flow. And so, yeah, as long as I understand stock to flow is going to play out, and I'm seeing the fact that the adoptions and integrations are happening, I'm just preparing my mind for, the worst case scenario while hoping for the best.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
I'm just looking at it as like, yeah, it's just money for me. I don't care. They can play their games however long they want. If they want Litecoins, they have to bid higher, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think most institutions didn't care about Bitcoin. I feel like the only real big money that ever came in was last cycle, like Tesla, Elon, and Michael Saylor, and then now more people have followed him. But I don't think there were like institutional players like trying to bid for Bitcoin at $200 or got in early. I think they're literally gonna buy the top, and I think it's probably the same here. There might be some smaller crypto focused firms that might have tried to manipulate the price, but I think most of them just don't care and they don't understand it.
Oh,
I just take the like simplest answer, but it does make sense to prepare for the worst. I like your point about gold and silver. It's totally different, and I think people misunderstand history of gold and silver. Like silver's relative price to gold declined so much after governments already monopolized control over money, and to me, gold was already demonetized at that point. We all were
yeah.
trading paper money, uh, and people just think that'll happen again. But if crypto delivers on its, or Bitcoin
Yeah.
does on its true value prop, then literally the opposite will happen. It'll become monetized, and then multiple chains like Litecoin will potentially reach parity with BTC. So yeah, all those guys that say random
Yeah.
stuff like that, they're just buying the popular story that the people in power wrote in history books about gold and silver. Um, and your point about the
They're
differences in
peddling.
supply is the same, is right too. But what
Yeah.
were you gonna say?
They're peddling their narratives. They're doing their thing, and I like it actually. I also think there's more institutional interest in Litecoin than there is in, or common sense makes me think. I might not be correct on this, but I'm just thinking of a hypothetical situation where imagine I was a very large institution who was calling Bitcoin a scam all of this time, was calling Bitcoin a scam all of this time. And I watched Bitcoin grow and explode all the way from like 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 to 30, 40,000 before I finally aped in. And now I'm like up 100, 150%, 200%, 300%. I mean, personally, if I were, a mega institution in that, situation, I'm not gonna be content, bro. Like I could have gotten all that sweet like 100x, right? So I'm gonna be looking for what is most similar to Bitcoin that I can repeat that on, you know. And the only answer is Litecoin, in my opinion.
For sure. Well, like literally, that's the same. It's going through the same process Bitcoin went through. If they're smart enough to see it, I just think institutions are stupid. Their followers, most of them, especially the largest one,
Yeah.
they move on popular interest. And
They're trying to grab the liquidity.
I just see like the biggest funds in the world. They have terrible yearly returns a lot of the time. So I don't really buy into the idea that there's this large cabal trying to like
Yeah.
except outside of like pumping. I know there's more manipulation to the upside and like Trump meme coin and random tokens where they're trying to pump and hype up that rather than
Yeah.
like downside manipulation on other chains because it's far riskier. You could like if you were naked short or borrowed a bunch of Litecoin to sell, you could just with not even a huge position, you could totally blow up. It's so dangerous to short crypto um,
Hmm.
because the price can rally like 50x, right? And if you borrowed a bunch of Litecoin that you sold and you have to pay that back at 50x the price, you might totally just get liquidated, right? That's what happened to like Melvin Capital, GME. They were
Oh yeah,
short,
yeah, yeah. I saw that.
more shares than existed, and there was no way for them to pay it back after the price went up 50x. So it wasn't even like 100% position. It might have been like 5% or 10%, 5% of their portfolio, but they were leveraged and they blew up because of it. So I don't think smart institutions would take the risk of shorting crypto or taking like a massive leverage short position against Litecoin. That'd just be insane.
That's interesting. I actually like that perspective. That's a good perspective because, like, I hear some people say, "Oh, some institutions that are long Bitcoin are like short Litecoin." I'm like, but that it doesn't make sense, right? Why they should, or some people say some institutions are long Bitcoin and short the LTC BTC ratio. I try to process how exactly that plays out in my mind, but I
Yeah,
just don't see
I've
it.
commented on it before and said there's a lot of weird like anomalies with Litecoin as far as like being taken out of the conversation on crypto media outlets and like Galaxy talking shit on it and then trying to borrow a bunch of Litecoin from miners or buy it to sell it. But the more I've thought about it, I think it's so insignificant they can make way more money uh, longing random other tokens that they print. And the only potential manipulator would be a government. So if like the government was secretly involved with pumping Bitcoin, that's the only entity that doesn't give a shit really about money because they can tax and print.
Yeah.
That would do something like that, right? They do it with their own currency pegs. They try to defend it, lose a ton of money. That's how George Soros made all of his by betting against the government being able to maintain a currency peg. Uh, but I don't think they care about a relatively small
Yeah.
crypto.
Yeah. So another perspective as well. Like, do you know why do people, even particularly Litecoiners, why do a lot of Litecoiners see Litecoin as small or dead? And here's why I say this, right? A lot of people, they look at Litecoin and say, "Oh, Litecoin's dead," because we've been flat for a very long time. And in my perspective, I try to zoom out and look at other projects that are actually dead, you know, and I see other ones, and those coins are like they're dead in. Oh, look at Zcash, for example. Zcash was about $200 million market cap. That was its death zone, right? About $200 million market cap was its sort of like the death zone for Zcash. And Zcash is pumped so hard, and its alive valuation is currently about, I think, 5 billion.
Yeah,
And I'm like, Litecoin's death valuation has been somewhere within the range of $4 and $10 billion. That's such a way to look at it, to see that Litecoin's a massive coin. For your death zone to be $4 to $10 billion, I'm excited to see what your life zone will be. I don't know why a lot of people don't look at it like that. Because I 100% believe Litecoin's a top three coin. We're not far away from seeing it back there.
I think it's weird seeing all the Zcash uh, promotion, despite it not really going anywhere and just declining in monetary adoption. But I'd say like crypto as a whole is relatively like a ghost town, like living on hot air. And even though Litecoin on a relative basis is is way stronger than every altcoin, at least in it's the market it's competing in. So these other proof of work chains
Yeah.
has more adoption than all of them combined. Um, but I still think uh, everything is overpriced, even Litecoin based on its current monetary activity, because it's relatively small transactions. The difference is Litecoin can steal a significant portion of Bitcoin's existing monetary demand, and then uh, it would go up massively just on that. So it's the future potential for me and the long term macro view that I have that makes me think it's significantly underpriced. But if you were just looking at today's transaction stats, like wow, most all these coins in the market are probably going to go to zero, even though they have held like Dogecoin $30 billion market cap valuation, or Cardano, same thing. So it's like the craziest bubble that we've continuously reinflated. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think we're gonna have kind of an absolute mania to conclude everything over the next
Maybe that's
6 months. Maybe that's what.
maybe that maybe that's why we've been chilling for a very long time, honestly. Because I kind of had this afterthought. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm very chill and my emotions are very less on the line. Is because I've anticipated this scenario where the entire market just stalls for all of 2025. I sort of had that on my you know things to watch out for, just in case we didn't see a traditional four-year cycle that sort of like went up Q1, Q2, 2025. So yeah, I mean, if we get a mania phase over the next 6 months, that's gonna be cool. But I'm curious to know, right? I want to know because I had a debate with Justin Bonds yesterday. I don't know if you know Justin Bonds, huge proof of stake guy, and is very anti proof of work. He believes they're all gonna die, blah blah blah. And his idea behind it is the security budget. And that's what he looks at. He looks at a security budget, how much is being generated to maintain the network, either for validators or for miners. And so his idea is, all of these proof of work monitoring networks, they are ultimately facing you know, declining security budgets, and so they eventually just get so low to the point where they become vulnerable to a takeover or something. So I don't know what you think about that.
I think that's super silly because it's just like the same reason that I think all these Bitcoiners are silly. Like, what do you mean? It's dependent upon monetary demand at the end of the day. Like, if this develops into a monetary market, if there's high demand, people are going to be willing to pay to use it, and they will have higher security budgets. It's like, what's the ultimate value prop? Like, you just go back. Why would an end consumer demand this, and why are they going to be willing to pay to use it? And it's like, okay, compare proof of stake to proof of work. Like, in the macro environment I think we're heading into with high inflation, high interest rates, a relatively decreasing standard of living in the Western world, it's going to be the only things that can survive or exist outside of government capture are security models that or at least the only ones that exist right now, where it's possible for people to resist and avoid that capture, are the proof of work chains, like the Bitcoin security model, or some of these privacy chains that are also proof of work. Because the only way you overcome censorship, if it gets to that point, is by adding hash rate from outside whatever the government controls, based on this market demand to pay higher fees. Like the censorship resistant aspect comes from the market willing to pay higher fees than what the government's willing to tax to censor, if that makes sense. So I just imagine
Oh.
like a totally different environment, and if it's cheaper for people to use Bitcoin or a Bitcoin chain than paying the high inflation tax and potentially just censorship outright, uh, they will use it, as long as there's decent enough privacy, so that they don't get in trouble. But you can't even have the conversation on the proof of stake side. It doesn't matter if there's no demand for it, right? Like, what's the end value prop? Can they get censorship resistant or permissionless money? No, you can't.
They'll
So,
argue. Those guys will argue to death that proof of stake is more decentralized than proof of work. They'll
well, it
argue it
doesn't
to death.
matter if it's decentralized or not. That doesn't guarantee censorship resistant. Once a government has sufficient stake, how do you get them out? Like, how do you push them out? You have to vote. But that's the whole point, right? Like, political money is up to a vote. We could just vote for better money, but it never happens because the majority is dependent upon these like welfare transfer payments. They're never gonna
Oh.
vote for harder money, and you can't get out of it. Like, at least proof of work offers a market-based solution for the economic minority to resist, uh, if they have the technology
Hmm.
tools and are willing to take some personal risk to skirt around whatever government rules or penalties they might impose on you using these proof of work networks. So that, yeah, you can say they can argue forever, but most of the time I find like the people arguing are just have bags of something else and they're trying to promote it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I don't get it, honestly.
it's fine. Maybe proof of stake you can have cool features, but I wouldn't trust it because I know it's just like political money, and that once a centralized power is strong enough, it can just dominate the network, or change the rules or do whatever it wants. We already seen it happen with Ethereum, right? They
Yeah.
changed the like inflation rewards or whatever it's called. Um, they could have all these cool apps that people are using right now, like Polymarket. Maybe one day a government political entity doesn't like it and they just shut it off. Then what do people do? There's no answer. And I hate what's most annoying to me is Bitcoiners haven't figured this out yet. Even a lot of the OG Bitcoiners, they're like, "Oh, Bitcoin's past the Rubicon. Like, it's never going to be challenged uh, by the government, or it's already institutionalized. Nobody's going to change anything about the adoption, and they're just going to totally surrender their monetary monopoly." I think that's so naive and silly to assume. It'd be like, to me, buying a house in some bad part of the country and saying, "Oh, I don't need locks on my doors or a fence around my house. Just gonna leave it unlocked." And nobody's bad in that area right now, so I don't have to worry about security. It's maybe not the best metaphor, but I feel like this market has a long way to go
I
in
got you.
understanding. Uh,
Yeah.
I just take it
I
from,
got you. I understand. I understand your point totally.
yeah. You have to think about that, right? It's a defensive network. It's like if the government just assumed no other nation would attack it. It's like, oh, we're already the dominant superpower. Like, we can just totally defund the military. We don't need to monitor airspace, or China's, they're not going to attack us. They like us. Something like that. Like, if that was the mentality of your country's military defense, it probably wouldn't last very long.
So I want to ask one question as well, because I'm learning, right? I really really needed a secondary perspective on this, because I had the debate, and it's pretty much this my argument with him about why I felt like more comfortable with proof of work networks than proof of stake networks is the fact that the decentralization is very provable, and to what extent your risk is. Like, for example, if you see the centralization of mining pools, you know what you're getting into. And also the fact that the mining pools are pretty much, it's just centralization of financial interest. And the decentralized nature of the network, anyone can join the network on a whim at any time, and there are no gateways like, oh, this x amount of tokens needed. No, you can just join the network at any time. It doesn't matter. And that sort of like helps us to be able to be more resistant. And he just kept saying, oh yeah, but then you need to, miners are centralized. And so the question he asked, right, was he said, the question I want to ask. He said that large nations with a lot of economic power and a lot of ability to access cheap energy, if they wanted to like coordinatively attack proof of work, then they can just get all of this mining, rigs, get everything set up, and start aggressively mining to control the chain. And since they have all of the money in the world, all the resources in the world, and like the people that are trying to like fight for the chain, we, the minority, we don't have as much resources, then they can just easily co-opt the chains. And I want to know what your counter is to that.
Well, I would say, yeah, that's what the direction, because of economies of scale and building this huge casino that's super centralized, like it has trended towards these super large mining companies that could just be like seized or forced to do whatever the government says to 51% attack the network and censor people's transactions. Like that can happen, and it will be a problem. I would say the difference is they could do the same thing with proof of stake. They can just acquire 51% stake in the network and censor, or whatever the number is. The difference in proof of work,
Yeah.
though, is that if we get into an economic environment where a government actually has an incentive to do that, that means their monetary monopoly is threatened. That means people are actually adopting Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever proof of work chain is a threat to them. And they will have to tax people, the public, to pay for that censorship. They don't have unlimited resources, right? They can't
Yeah.
print so much, and it's the economic, uh, like the stronger people in the population economically that will be more likely to resist. Uh, and those are the people that create all the wealth. So these people that will adopt the chain, can force the government out, right? It seems so hard to imagine now the government would do this and that Bitcoin's monetary adoption would get that high, or these proof of work chains combined, but it will happen, right? Like that type of response, I think, is inevitable if it actually does succeed. And then the question is, how does it overcome it? It's like compare the two technologies, proof of stake, proof of work. One is possible, but we don't really know what individuals will choose to do. But I think the smartest minds that are extremely productive will say, fuck this. Like, I'm not going to be taxed 70% or whatever crazy amount it is through inflation plus direct taxes. And I'm going to operate smartly by myself with, maybe it's like AI creators or people that leverage AI tools that are making a ton of
Yeah.
money, and they learn how to operate anonymously and create a bunch of wealth for themselves, and be able to secure it from the government. And it's those people, I think, that eventually will lead to the success of proof of work, like ending the state's monetary monopoly. 'Cause at some point, they would have to give up, right? If they're taxing way too much and they can't enforce, like they're burning so many resources trying to shut down these networks versus run their other operations, eventually they would just concede and say, okay, we're not going to control the money anymore. We'll try to tax in other places. because they still they're an entity just like any other, uh, where they have to have this like cost versus reward thing, calculation
Yeah.
happening. And if the cost of enforcement is just infinite and the cost of defense for the individual goes towards zero, because technology keeps improving and privacy tools should get better, it seems to me likely that eventually these individuals will win and they'll maximize, uh, the profit to themselves. I don't know if that really answers the question that you originally
Oh yeah,
asked.
it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does. It does because eventually, like what you're saying is, at a point where a Bitcoin or Litecoin or any of these monetary networks have proof of work monetary networks have grown to the level where the government wants to attack it. It means they have grown so much that they are now threatening like you know the monetary monopoly of the states, and so the only way the states can sort of like attack it is to sort of like tax, create more taxation to sort of like fight the networks,
Yeah, to
and
fund
that's just
the
gonna lead to like
censorship.
a
Yeah.
the attack, yeah, and that's just gonna lead to like a snowball effect of people like opting out and moving
Yeah.
into the network to like defend it, and just I
Yeah.
get that,
Yeah,
honestly,
and if
I
they're
do,
losing more
I do.
money trying to tax to like control the monetary market than they are getting in, revenue, they'll stop doing it. They'll stop it. They'll just
Hmm.
surrender, right? If they're losing more, right, they get a benefit right now because nobody's challenging it by just printing money. There's no cost to them. But if these other monies get adopted, they start losing the ability to tax through inflation. That's when they're
Yeah.
incentivized to try to shut it down. And if that that cost of enforcement and shutting it down is higher than the monetary adoption they're killing, they're just going to snowball downhill and, bankrupt themselves faster. So they just stop and be like, okay, let's try other ways to raise revenue. Uh, so
I want to also know. Okay.
we just have to
No,
simplify the equation and think about it from like a rational economic standpoint.
yeah. I also want to know your opinion on how exactly, like, because I've been looking at it, right. One of the things that this proof of stake guys spouted around is they say, oh, that so there's a lot of them, they boast, oh, we've got like a quadrillion TPS, we've got like a gazillion TPS, blah blah blah. And as like Litecoin, I think the max theoretical is like 9.2 million, 9 point something million a day, or like 10 million, 9 to 11 million when you include MWeb max theoretical. So let's say practical theoretical with MWeb is just like, let's say 3 million. And so the idea is, if it's gonna grow to the point where it becomes money eventually, it has to replace day-to-day transactions, in a reliable way. And that's one of the talking points of even Casper, that you need to have the TPS to be able to handle all of that money tree, demand for on a day-to-day basis. And the way I counter that, especially on the Casper side, is I say, okay, the cost to Casper having to, because Casper solves its own, this problem by, having this directed at, acyclic graph, this DAG, that sort of like distributes the network across prune nodes, and this prune nodes only need to store like 3 days
Yeah,
worth of
proof nodes
transaction
aren't really
history,
no,
while
that's centralization though. Like that's the main. People in
yeah,
Bitcoin tried to do the same
so
thing,
yes,
like saying you gotta have checkpoints and stuff. If you're not validating the full chain, you don't know for sure if it's
I
like been
know.
altered. You have to be able to validate from the Genesis block. So
Yeah.
I
So
know
they
there. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
so what they basically the Casper guys, they're gonna say, they say, oh yeah, but because Jonathan said, oh, having the full chain is just for aesthetics and blah blah blah. And I just say, well, that's bullshit, because like at the end of the day, the 3 days of no, unlike with the Bitcoin and Litecoin, the Nakamoto style chains, the prune nodes can actually achieve consensus without validating the entire chain history, and that's the idea. But at the end of the day, right, the validation of the entire chain, which is like the whole point of having a distributed ledger, is that everybody has to keep a full copy, is lost and only exists with these archival nodes that can easily be attacked and shut down. I mean, if an archival node gets shut down, then you just have the header with all of the transactions histories and this new pro node. You have to start a new archival node that's just gonna lose all that transaction history, and so it doesn't make sense. So the only way to like solve that problem, and Casper claims to have solved the blockchain trilemma, but it really hasn't, right,
Yeah,
in any practical way. And neither has Solana or any of these other chains, because like the more you just try to scale up the transaction output, the more you just overload the the higher the storage capacity demands to run invalidator nodes become. And so my counter to it is just usually, and I want to hear your perspective as well. I want to give my counter so you can sort of like give me a perspective. I can round it up so I
mm,
know how better to face these questions when I get them. So my general counter to it is I don't think the speed of the L1 is too important. I feel like what's the most important in L1 is having the L1 being so incorruptible in a way that like the decentralization is like immaculate. Was getting the full history of the blockchain and to be able to validate all of that extremely important, and it has to be distributed in a fair way, and that's what matters the most. So as long as it's sufficient enough to handle that, layer twos can be the way to people transmitting it on a faster, as long as the the foundation of the L1 is sound, to the point where the decentralization is absolute, the distribution is fair, and the security is very functional. The aspect of like day-to-day transactions can just be taken to L2, and it won't matter eventually, right? Because in a future where yeah, in a future where crypto eventually takes over the world and takes over the monetary system, becomes a dominant money, uh it's still going to be a minority of us that are going to care about like the decentralized nature of the chain and doing everything with the L1. But like for majority of people, the legacy systems, they're not going to go away. Eventually they're just going to find a way to incorporate it. And for majority of people, they just want to they would just want to use these monies, like the Litecoins, the Bitcoin, but they won't care on where. So like imagine it's like JP Morgan, like a Chase Bank, and whatever they decide to use a layer 2 to sort of like make the transactions faster, and everything happens at the back end, but on the front end it's just, oh, you're spending Litecoins, you're spending Bitcoins. They wouldn't care. Most people wouldn't care, and I feel like that solves the monetization problem in terms of like day-to-day transactions. But yeah, what's your take on that? How what do you think is the solution for that?
yeah. Well, I think one, people try to frame it in the current context of like how they interact with the current financial system, and yeah, everyone interacts on credit layers, um, mostly because they're pretty reliable and the government money isn't like rapidly. Well, I guess in your area of the world it is, but for most people, it works, and they don't ever have to interact with the actual money. Like hardly anyone carries around cash. Um, but I think the value system internally for individuals will change over time as governments like start to fail and these financial institutions that they've trusted forever start having problems. And then when if we get into the situation that we are talking about before, where there's like this fight between governments and the crypto world, uh, they're going to have to learn to care about money again. Like they're going to have to figure it out themselves because nobody's going to help them. So I think they will care about L1 transaction or having their money secured, uh, and will decentralize finance a bit. And then it'll take a while, but I think institutions like JP Morgan and these big financial institutions will be recreated in like a decentralized market. I don't know, maybe by DAOs or some type of decentralized financial system where they have a separate credit score that's not based on personal identity. But I just see different institutions replacing the old ones, and then most people eventually, after a giant period of transition, will go back to using credit layers on top of these new financial institutions that emerge. But during the transition process where there's likely to be a lot of violence and chaos, I think credit will be hard to find and very expensive. Uh, and most people, if crypto is being adopted, will just want to take possession of it. They'll learn the hard way that their money just evaporated because some of these financial institutions failed. But yeah, I don't know. If the scaling problem, it's not hard for me to imagine. I mean, the same thing that's happening to Litecoin right now can happen on a third Bitcoin chain. You can have multiple and have balances on multiple of these blockchains and use the the least secure one for everyday transactions, the medium one for your monthly payments and stuff, and the securest ledger for your savings for long term. I don't know, that it's gonna be messy. I don't think there's I don't think the way people are imagining it in the context of they look at how they interact with the money today and thinking it's going to be like that in the future. I don't think that's true, and it seems like everyone's arguing about these technologies and what they can and can't do when there's not much proven even monetary demand. So it's hard to really say because we're so far away from seeing an environment where people are like, oh shit, I gotta figure this out and learn what works best. Over time, it'll become more clear. But I don't see any reason why you can't just have multiple Bitcoin chains, and then why credit layers they will emerge somehow, routing around the traditional financial powers as they lose credibility and trust. Does that even make sense?
Oh yeah, that definitely does.
Okay. All right. I probably have to go here in a sec.
Okay.
But I appreciate you coming on here. Thanks for the good questions. It's fun to talk about these things because almost nobody cares. That's all I've ever cared about is understanding from first principles how this stuff works, what the value prop is, how it's likely to play out. So it's nice to talk to someone that also is interested in that, because most people only care about the short-term price action or speculation.
Yeah. Litecoin for me is my way of taking back my future. Honestly, it doesn't even matter that it doesn't even matter the physical Litecoins I own today. It also matters where I'm going to put my money in tomorrow, in perpetuity. Because, yes, I just don't find it's just not logical to keep putting money into storing your value in, cash, just getting it inflated away, or, just going through the cycles, So that's why it matters to me that I know, okay, what's our future going to be like, when these things finally become money. What's it going to be like? So I'm always asking myself these questions. Yeah, I have a very long-term view on Litecoin, honestly.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's very funny. Like the first time I came on your live stream, this wasn't my mentality. I just thought it was a great opportunity, and I liked the way the community was. I was starting to adopt the ethos, but not necessarily on a very solid level until but today I sort of get it, and it's almost like I'm getting into a point where, and I guess that's part of why I'm trying to rework the old system tour. I'm sort of getting to a point where I don't care that much about crypto in general, and I just care about good money,
Yeah.
because that was ultimately what crypto is about. I see it as a revolutionization of money rather than a fancy new technology.
Well, I'm glad it seems like you've uh, worked a lot on developing your understanding. So nice work. It's
No.
hard because nobody's gonna tell you. You kind of have to figure it out. I don't know everything. I'm just thinking for myself and how this is likely to work, and I'm sure I have holes in my understanding, but so far, I mean, like since I started paying attention, like 2016, a lot of the assumptions I've made within the first year of coming here have like proven to be true. And I think I'm likely going to continue to be correct. And a lot of these other people will just fade away because they never came here for the right reasons. And understanding, like even though technical analysis probably can get you pretty far in like short-term trading opportunities, there's nothing. If you're looking at this from like a financial opportunity perspective, I don't think anything can replace that, like understanding, like the fundamental understanding and macro understanding. I think always will lead you to the best financial outcome. And you'll outperform all the traders, all the guys online that are popular if you develop like a first principles understanding of how this stuff
Yeah.
works. So I guess we can end with that. But what time is it over there?
Oh boy, I don't even know. I don't know. I've never changed. Funny, I've never changed the time set on my PC from the day I bought it. So, so
So
it's
it's just
my
always been
PC is
inaccurate.
not Nigerian. Yes, my
Oh,
PC has always
nice.
been inaccurate. Like it's not never been set in Nigeria time. I just have to check my phone. I'm using my phone for you know, for the camera. I have to check time in Nigeria. It's probably like 1 a.m. or something. I have to edit my video so
Oh,
it's
nice.
ready.
Are
Yeah,
you
it's
still like
1:21.
having to? It's still like a big process for you to be able to edit your videos, like with power and internet.
Oh no 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 no. I've solved my power problem thanks to my family and friends. You know, they saw my stream with Master, the one that the generator fuel went off because my gasoline generator, the gas inside got freaking stolen. They literally popped up my generator and drained
Really?
my entire gas. Yeah, and it sucked, right? There's because I had like I had like $5 worth of gas inside. There's a lot. There's a lot of gas I had inside that freaking generator. They just drained it out. Freaking sucked.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah,
They
they
have
saw
enough
it.
incentive to steal gasoline out of a generator.
Yeah,
Man, is it
yeah.
dangerous
People,
over
people
there?
are.
Like around where you're at, or not
Yes, it
really?
is.
It is.
It is. It's dangerous everywhere. But like you get used to understanding how to survive. I mean, everything is about survival, right? I don't perceive any immediate danger because like I've sort of like grown to understanding how to survive and how to basic safety tips, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's not like someone's trying to harm you every time. The majority of like security personally is just staying as anonymous as possible, being as invisible as possible in your general vicinity. No one cares about who you are. So yeah, but yeah, they stole my gas, sucked. So my fam, they were like, okay, we have to come together and get you a solar. So yes, I have a solar inverter system in my house right now. So I have 24 hours electricity.
Oh, nice.
Yay!
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, congrats on that. That must be such a
Appreciate.
relief.
Oh yes, it is. It is. It is such a relief. Such a huge relief. I'm so happy. I can't even wait to get back to streaming. Honestly, I miss streaming a lot. But streaming is very difficult. Yo, bro, props to you. I never knew streaming was that difficult. Like talking on stream like this, like back to back. Holy, it's a lot of
Mhm.
energy, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, your energy is really high and great. Sometimes I'm just like on here randomly conversing. Uh, I just do it for fun. Hopefully, though, with a rally, if we're able, a lot of our accounts, the Litecoin accounts, should um, get a lot more attention. So I'm hoping we all do. I think you deserve it, and Kyle, because it's like he's been operating his store at like a loss forever. I've been just doing this on
Oh,
my free time for nothing, and so same with you. I mean, we're all not like making any money from it.
yeah. His by the way, I want to say something. Bro, your style of content is perfect. Your style of streaming is perfect. I like it. Sometimes I come on your stream, you don't even know I'm here because I'm just chilling.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, when I'm on your stream, I'm just chilling. I don't necessarily have to always pay attention to what you're saying at every single time. And that's very relaxing. I like it. I like the background music. I like your style, bro. You don't need to change anything. It's
sweet.
perfect.
Thanks.
And yeah, and I have to I'm trying to do this thing with my streams where it's like I can't learn everything about and I can't learn everything about crypto. And it's extremely difficult to balance entertainment and education
Yeah,
because like if you're too silly, no one's gonna listen to you, and if you're too boring, well, no one's gonna listen to you as well.
for sure.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see how I can, whenever I'm doing my streams, right? Because I want to make sure that I have some way of sending my viewers and whoever is joining the space, like through my videos. I want to send them over to your page so they can have a much balanced view. It's part of the things I'm working behind the scenes to try to sort out. Because honestly, when I resume the alt season tour, I'm going aggressive, and it's gonna be a very different show, completely different. You're not even gonna. It's not gonna be something you could recognize. Honestly, it's gonna be a completely different show, different audience target. It's not gonna be on X, so I could just like keep the algorithm okay. So yeah, it's gonna be extremely for extremely for forcing that conversation out, and there's a lot of new eyes on YouTube that can actually be tapped, like people that aren't already in this space. And I feel like YouTube sort of like allows you to be able to do that more than
For
X does.
sure. Yeah.
So yes,
That and TikTok.
so
I
that's what
think
I'm going to be
TikTok
doing.
might be decent
Yeah, I
potentially.
freaking hate TikTok, bro.
I've never
I
used
freaking
it,
hate
but
TikTok.
I think the like discovery algo works
Yeah,
well. Like people with no followers can have a post blow up. I tried it, but I literally never had it because I was never interested. And I think you need like 1,000 followers to be able to live stream.
it's true.
So
Yeah, I've
it would.
got
You've got what?
I've got some content. I've got some content that can actually perform more than TikTok. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
my
think you'd do
skits.
well.
By the way, I have a skit. I just haven't dropped it yet. I have a skit already for the week. It's about bullishness, and everyone is just doom and gloom. So I'm gatekeeping it until sentiment becomes a little more positive. I'll probably remake another one. But yeah, my skits. I feel like my Litecoin sketches. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna be taking to TikTok to try to like see if that's something that can bring those
Mhm.
audiences. Yeah.
Yeah, do it. I'm excited for that stuff. I'm excited to see what your new show is. When are you
Oh.
starting it?
I haven't decided, but it's this coming week. It was supposed to be this week, but I don't want to rush it. I rushed the previous Autism tour because I gave it date and I didn't want to disappoint, so I just rushed it. But I didn't like it. I didn't like the way I went about it. So I'm trying to do something different. So it's not something a lot of Litecoiners are gonna like, because like a lot of us, most people don't even want to hear anything about anything else. And the ultimate truth of the matter is the only way you can get new people to listen is if you can listen to what they're saying as well, and information sort of like flows, right? Because my conversation with Justin yesterday, or I think the day before yesterday, yeah, the day before yesterday, I sort of got him thinking about Litecoin is merge mining because I was able to listen to what he's saying, right? And a lot of proof of stake people on that call, they were able to listen and hear that Litecoin has merge mining to sort of like help boost its mining sustainability. You can't achieve that if you just sit down
in one place, and you're just talking to Litecoin audience. But yeah, I mean, yes, when the rally comes, a lot of people are gonna come and they're gonna look at just the stuff. But like, then what's gonna happen when they go, right? How do you keep it in the conversation? And that's what I'm hoping flipping finance eventually becomes. It's like it becomes this space, because I see something like Coin Bureau and these other big dogs, and they get to talk about Bitcoin and talk about, they never talk about Litecoin. So I just want something that can keep Litecoin the conversation, the general conversation, regardless of market situation.
For sure. That sounds like a good strategy. Well, sweet. I'll watch out for your new content, but I think you have the right idea. We're all trying. I mean, like both of us trying to make something new while not losing the
Yeah,
existing
bro.
people. Well, cool. Good talking to you, sir. I appreciate you coming on here. Thanks for hanging out for a bit.
Appreciate you, my brother. Hey, by the way, I got you, bro. Listen, if you want me to be on your show anytime, just let me know. I'm gonna find time. I got you.
Well, I'm gonna set up this 24/7 thing if price breaks out again. It'd be cool to have like someone to pop in at night. But I think maybe your hours might work out well with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how what the time difference is, but it'd be cool to have someone on here occasionally, like at night, to interact with people and just like give you control of the stream. Maybe hand it off and have a conversation for like 30 minutes, and then I'd like go to sleep, and you could take control of it for a little bit and then leave whenever you want and take the audience with you to your own stream. I don't know. I was just thinking of ideas because I would always lose people at night when I was trying the 24/7 stream. So if you're down to do it like once in a while, that'd be cool.
I got you.
Right,
we just have to figure out how that. I got to figure out how that's gonna enter into my calendar. I got you, man. We're all gonna grow together. Honestly.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm also trying to make my light hour stream very accessible to like general community members. One of the things I'm also trying to push for is when we eventually start seeing appreciation of price and we start seeing attention, I want to see how I can help onboard new creators, and we can all like be connected to each other, and we can all help each other grow systematically. So like we have a generation of people that are actually Litecoin creators.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, it will help all of us. If attention finally comes, we'll benefit, and we benefit from being on each other's platforms.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Let's do it, bro. Just let me know. Just communicate the details of what you want me to do, so I can sort of like work it around my calendar, bro.
Sick. All right,
let's take over, bro.
When we get there, yeah, we'll have 24/7 content for Litecoin. Take over the internet for a few months at least.
Oh, we're gonna talk about when they give us, whenever we get that attention. I don't intend on letting it go. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's what we need to work on. We need to work on forcing it into the conversation. I don't want us to go, probably 2,000, 3,000 on the back, and everyone gets their eyes off. No, they stay.
Yeah.
They stay. It's digital gold and digital silver. We have to try to push that into their consciousness as much as possible.
Hell yeah. All right, we'll do it.
We will win, bro. We will win.
I got so much stuff
we
that
will
I've been
win.
waiting to release, and so do you. So we got it. All right. Have a good night, brother. I'll see you later. I'll message you on X.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Peace, everybody. Bye-bye. Love you all. As long as you love Litecoin, love you. If you're hate watching, I don't love you.
Fair enough. All right. Perfect.
All right.
Peace out. See ya. All right, guys. Thanks for Flippin' Finance, Flippy. I don't know what he likes to be called. I should have asked him. For coming on here. He's entertaining. Somebody wanted We're All Gonna Make It. So let's play that.
Finally learn to strike, so That's right, tight. Let's go. We're all gonna make it. Tight. Let's go. I finally earned stripes, so I'm good, right? Great. Let's go. I finally earned hype, so we're good, right? Wait. No, that's tight. Let's go. I finally earned stripes, so I'm good, right? Great. Let's go. I finally earned hype, so we're good, right? Wait. No, that's tight. Let's go. We're all gonna make it. We're all gonna make it. We're all gonna make it. Hey. I finally earned stripes, so we're good, right? Great, let's go. I finally earned hype, so we're good, right? Wait, no, that's tight, let's go. I finally earned stripes, so we're good, right? Great, let's go. I finally earned hype, so we're good, right? Wait, no, that's tight, let's go. Take my hand, I'll lead you to the promised land. If you can,
Alright, MK requested
find
this
ways
one.
out of this market, man. Before you get caught up in this city plan, don't get too greedy.
Oh, let me turn it back up.
Take your time, your life is more than nickel dime. I know you're tight, but mama raised you better. Before you get caught up in this city plan, don't get too greedy. Don't get too greedy. Don't get too greedy. Don't get too greedy. You put 1,000 away and made 1,000,000. Then you obsessed, put pennies to work. I don't see a reason. You should realize profits. Take some off the table. Take it off. Take some off the table. Take it off. Did you forget you have to pay, dear? Did you forget you have to pay, dear? Take it off. Say it, sister. Take it off, girl. Take it off. Yes, we must take it off. I say, take it all off. Don't forget you have to pay, dear. Take it all off the table. Get rid of it already. And don't forget you have to pay. Did you forget you have to pay? Take it all off the table. Get rid of it already. Don't forget you have to pay, dear. Take it all off. 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 Take it all off now. Take it all off. Shit. We call off our. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. One.
Alright, what next? There's some old stuff that... Let's find it. Which other one did people like? This actually got a lot of views. Alright, I didn't put To the Moon on here. Forgot. Making my stand.
Chasing that dream. Life ain't easy, but it's sweeter than it seems. Got rhythm in my heart and the groove in my feet. I'm taking on the world, bringing my own heat. Every corner I turn, the struggle's real. But the fire in my soul, it's what I feel. The horns are blaring, the bass line's tight. I'm climbing that mountain, I'll reach new heights. I'm living on hope, chasing that dream. Life ain't easy, but it's sweeter than it seems. Got rhythm in
Let him talk? Okay, yeah, we can play that one.
I'm taking on the world, bringing my own heat.
I like that one.
We stay quiet, let them talk.
Alright, Litecoin's moving. It wants to break out here. It's others.
Fast, we played smart. Now we're
Oops.
glowing in the dark. Took the hits, we took the stairs. Skipped the cloud, who even cares? Now we're up, no shade, no shame. Real ones don't need to name the game. Better late, better late, better late than never. Yeah, we straight took our time. Who cares? Now we rise and you have to stare. They were early but too loud. Burned out quick, lost in the crowd. We stay close, we stay true. Now it's clear we better late than never. Yeah, we straight took our time. Who cares? Now we rise and you have to stare.
Alright, guys. I'm gonna go work on something else for a while.
Can't actually